Have you ever caught yourself in a situation where you overeat after a busy and hectic day? I think you've probably experienced this. All of us have. The truth is, stress and the hormones it releases makes us overeat, and we end up eating a whole bar of that extra sweet candy, even though we plan to just take a few bites. We just act on impulse in order to feel a bit better, even if it's just for a few moments only. In this video, I'll be addressing some proven steps you can take to reduce stress and lower the risk of overeating and obesity coming up. Surprisingly but true, research suggests that there's a difference in the way females and males cope with stress. For example, women are far more likely to relieve their stress using food, whereas men usually turn to alcohol or smoking. A study conducted in Finland on more than 5,000 women and men showed that obesity was only linked to stress-related eating in women only, not in men. On the other hand, another research claimed that both genders can be affected by obesity as a result of high level of stress levels, with a greater effect on men. Now, some researchers from Harvard University pointed out that work-related stress and other issues are connected to weight gain, but only in those who were already overweight before the study period began. So one possible explanation for this is that overweight people already have increased level of insulin, which increases the chances of stress weight gain. Another factor that affects stress-related weight gain is the amount of cortisol people release when responding to stress. A group of British researchers conducted a study which showed that people who usually respond to stress with elevated cortisol levels tend to turn to snack in response to everyday hassles. So let's discuss areas stress really impacts. 1. Appetite. One of the brain parts called the hypothalamus unleashes corticotrophin releasing hormones, which has the ability to suppress appetite, but only in a short term. Plus, the brain sends signals to the adrenal glands to release the epinephrine hormone called adrenaline. Then, these hormones provokes the body's fight or flight response, a psychological state in which the body suppresses appetite and puts eating on hold. And all of this is a result of temporary stress only. When it comes to stress that is persistent or perceived as such, the story and the effects are quite the opposite. In the case of persistent stress, a hormone called cortisol is released from the adrenal glands, and cortisol is known to increase motivation in general, including the motivation to eat. So cortisol is the hormone that can increase appetite. The levels of cortisol should go down when stress disappears. But if it lingers a bit longer, the cortisol levels may keep being increased. I hope you're curious enough to read more about this, right? So I encourage you to do so really. 2. Fat and sugar cravings. Unfortunately, stress doesn't only increase appetite, but also affect food preferences. And of course, you wouldn't have veggies or fruits on your mind, but sugar, sweets, and fattening snacks when stressed. According to various studies, many of them done on animals, physical and emotional stress can lead to an increased intake of food that are either high in fat or sugar or even both of them. This effect usually occurs when high cortisol levels combine with high insulin levels. Alternatively, as some researchers suggest, the hunger hormone called the ghrelin may be responsible for this. Once fattening or sugary foods are ingested, there's a kind of feedback effect impeding activity in the brain parts responsible for producing and processing stress and similar emotions. So, we may conclude that sugar cravings occur simply because they fight stress. And bear in mind though, that overeating isn't the one and only segment that can add some extra weight. The truth is that stressed people often suffer from lack of sleep and exercise and excess alcohol, all of which can add pounds and lead to being overweight. So here are the steps you can take. Even though different research points out to different results, there are some proven steps that you can take to reduce stress and lower the risk of overeating and obesity. Here are some of the best options. 1. Practice mindfulness. Apart from lowering your stress levels, meditation will help you lower high blood pressure and keep you safe from heart diseases. What's more is that if you meditate, you are far more likely to make smart food choices and impede the impulse to grab unhealthy food. Here are some easy mindfulness ways to bring into your eating and curb the stress-induced snacking. 1. Putting your fork or spoon down between bites. Eating slowly with a purpose. Take several deep breaths before each meal and use the HALT method to notice if you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, to assess whether you're eating due to how you're feeling or out of necessity. Question before we go on. Have you tried using meditation to bust stress? Share your experience in the comment section. 2. Try a new route. When you're feeling stressed, it's best to change your route to avoid favorite fast food restaurants. I acknowledge that the temptation might be strong, but it's important to shift your thinking towards non-food ways of distressing. And if you can't change your route before you give in to that temptation, activate the HALT method mentioned earlier. It's really about mind over matters anyways. 3. Exercise wisely. Keyword here, wisely. Another great thing you can do is exercise. Intense exercise can increase the cortisol levels momentarily, whereas exercise which is low in intensity can reduce them. So a research done in 2010 by the University of California, researchers shows that high intensity exercise can reduce the negative effects of stress. And if you aren't keen on vigorous exercise, you can try Pilates, which is a combination of both mindfulness and exercise. 4. Nourish your social life. By design, we weren't created to be alone. Hello, Adam. Hi. So, spending time with people you love has a buffering effect on stress. In other words, people cope with stressful situations more easily when they have social support. This is especially important and proven by research, again, for people who work in stressful situations. However, having social support is also vital for anyone, regardless of the nature of their job. I would like to know which of these tips you think will really be fun for you to try out. And if you've tried anyone out before, please comment below and let's know your experience and what we can learn from you. If we are just meeting, my name is Funmi. I inspire female entrepreneurs to create lifestyle modifications that can help them overcome chronic stress and burnout so they can thrive in their body and business. If you're new on this channel, it's a pleasure having you here. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, like the video, and hit that little notification bell so you won't miss any of my videos. And to my subscribers, you are simply amazing. Thank you so much. So if you're yet to join Soul Tribe, there's a link in the description box for you to join and get free access to exclusive resources on how to nourish, live, and create impact as a female entrepreneur. I'll see you in my next video. Take care of yourself.